In the last video, we tested Third Love. We found some breaking issues and inconsistencies. Today, we're spinning the wheel and testing a brand new site. Let's see what it lands on. Looks like we landed on Trader Joe's. The duration is 30 minutes, and we will be focusing on form validation. All right, I have my window open to traderjoes.com. I have my timer set for 30 minutes. Let's get started. First things first, let's do a quick walkthrough of the website. As you can see, as soon as I get here, I get this subscription pop-up on the side, and also I get this giant cookie banner. This is all a bit intrusive, and I don't think it's a very good first user experience, because right now, I can't really even see the website. I'm just gonna close all this, and let's see what they have here. So it looks like there's a customer choice award going on right now. They have some recipes, they have a podcast, more recipes, and more recipes. And down at the bottom, they have some store openings, and finally, you get to see some products. Let's check out the nav. So it looks like they have sections for products, discover, recipes, listen, careers, they have about us, and find a store. Let's go check out products. So products has a search bar for products that you can search. You scroll down, you have some sections, what's new, food, beverage, flowers and plants, everything else. And then once again, recipes. Let's go ahead and look at some food. Okay, it looks like food is just sorted by newest items. So I guess you get to see the newest items first. That all looks good. Let's go into an item here. Pretty standard. If I click on the read more, it gives me a very long list of information. There's a lot of scrolling required in this page. Go ahead and choose add to list. Looks like the shopping cart updated, and you have an option of printing a list. So it looks like Trader Joe's, you can't actually purchase items from here. You're just generating a shopping cart. Let me go ahead and print this list. See what this looks like. So the printed list is just a screenshot basically of your cart. Let's go to beverages. I'm just going to start adding things to list just for fun. Oh, what are these? There's glass half full. I don't know what any of these things mean. Let's click on one. So glass half full, is that some sort of tag? Little whatever is happening here is really odd. It like jumps to the bottom of the page and then jumps back up. I'm guessing these are tags. So what is bibulous? Bibulous. Well, let's click on one of these things. And okay, so here it is. These are tags. That's why they kind of look like tags, I guess. So we love these for bibulous. Okay, I think this is in some other language that I don't quite understand. I'll just assume that somebody understands what any of those tags mean. Let's jump on over to Discover. So Discover is Party Tips, Tasty Tales, and we got them all. First thing here is their Customer Choice Awards. So if I go to Vote Now, I can vote, and it takes me to a Google form. So this is not really the form validation that I want to do, because this would be testing Google and not testing Trader Joe's. It's interesting that they didn't just build their own form and they used a Google form. This takes you right out of the experience. I don't think it would be hard for them to build their own form. All right, let's go back to Discover. And what's this? Fondue. I guess these are just product highlights and not recipes. They're just telling you information about products. They have a crossword, 2025 crossword. Trader Joe's crossword puzzle. Start. Okay, this is cool. If they can do an interactive crossword puzzle inside of their site, then they should have been able to do that form also. This is pretty cool. I'll have to admit, I am really horrible at crossword puzzles, so I'm not even going to attempt this, but it looks like there's a way to cheat. So reveal word. Oh, there we go. So that's pretty cool. I like it. And it has a timer here. It has a play together, all this good stuff. I like it. All right, let's go back to Discover. They have like little quizzes built into here. What's a guide? A guide is information again. Let's jump to recipes. Recipes. Looks like recipes are just recipes. So you can print the recipe. It would be, okay, so that links to the product. I think it's a missed opportunity on Trader Joe's side, that on the recipe, they should just be able to add all of the items to the shopping cart. So that way, when they go to the store, they could just buy everything. I guess they can look at the ingredients and figure it out also, but I think it would be cool to add it to the shopping list, because if you're already using it for adding shopping list on other parts of the page, then you don't have to print out a separate page that has the recipe and look at that. All right, let's jump over to Listen. Listen is their podcast. Oh, that's pretty cool. It actually brings up an interactive player and plays the podcast right here. You can also download the transcript. I don't want to do. Pretty interesting. There's plenty of things on here that makes you want to stay on here and use their site and learn about Trader Joe's and food, I guess. Let's check the top nav. Let's see, announcements, okay, careers, about us. So the challenge today was form validation, but they don't have any forms on their site except for the newsletter form that popped up at the beginning. So let's restart again, and I guess we'll be checking this form out. So we have a first name, last name, zip code, and email address. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the inspector and check out the console here just to see if we get any errors, and let's try this out. So first thing I'm going to try obviously is subscribe with nothing filled in. Zip code and email address are required, even though it does not indicate that either of those are required. And it's funny that they ask you for your first name and last name, but they don't use it. So let's just try putting in some first name and last name. I'll do glitchy pixel. All right, let's try this. Subscribe, and obviously that's still going to fail because we haven't done a zip code. Let's try a zip code of 1. All right, so it's not doing any form validation at all, you can see, other than that the field is filled in. I'm pretty confident that there's no zip code that is 1. Let's try a different one. 0. Yep, they are not doing any sort of actual data validation on their form. Let's try some letters. Let's do an A. Okay, that shouldn't work. Let's do a space. There we go. So space is a valid zip code according to this form. Let's try something else. So let's do a way too long of a zip code. So there's probably at this point over 100 number ones in there. Okay, and that still worked. Let's do some HTML. So BR tag. Okay, that worked too. All right, so zip code is not reliable. Let's clear that out. How about email? Let's put a 1 in there. Okay, there we go. So now they're actually checking something. So they care about your email, because I guess that's how they're going to find you and send you a newsletter. So it knows the email is invalid. So let's do 1 at. Okay, still invalid. 1 at dot, still invalid. And let me change this to @.com. So this should be invalid still. So let's try 1 at.com. All right, 1 at 2.com. So it is doing a standard email validation check because it did pass all of those tests, but it's not doing any data validation on the zip code. Zip code should have a simple data validation also. That wouldn't be hard to implement. It would be similar to how they did the email, but it would just be for zip code. I just did a quick Google search for zip code regex, which is what they would use for validating their zip code field. As you can see, it's pretty simple. There's a regex that they would apply and it should validate. So I'll do a 1, that failed. I'll do a 0. I'll do a space. I'll do BR. I think I did a really long number. And you can see that all of those should have failed validation. So if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is a valid zip code pattern. So that should pass. This simple line of code would fix the validation issue on their form there. Since it's a required field, they should be validating that it's a valid zip code. Otherwise, why do they care about it so much? Let me show you the email version. So email is right here. So they're probably using something like this. So you can see like 1 is false, 1 at dot, 1 at.com. These are all the things I tried. And then 1 at 2.com. And that's what's passing. So they know how to do the regex validation, but they're just not doing it. I'm curious about this name field here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fill this in without the first name and last name, and I'm going to send it to myself. I want to see if the email comes to me properly formatted without that first name and last name, because sometimes they use that first name and last name as variables inside of their email. Okay, just to show you what's going on here. So I got the email, it gave me a confirmation, so it's a double opt-in. So the double opt-in asked me if I want to subscribe, and I said yes. The next page after that is this page that says you're subscribed, and it allows you to update your preferences. So at this point, all of this email stuff is managed by manage.email-list.com. So I don't think this is part of Trader Joe's anymore, and it's not because it took me to this marketing platform here. So the assumption that I'm going to make, this little pop-up here, is not actually made by Trader Joe's, it's made by that Kmail marketing product. So anything that's wrong with this is not a problem with Trader Joe's, it's a problem with the vendor. I'm going to stop testing that functionality of it because that is outside of Trader Joe's website, and I really wanted to just test what Trader Joe's did. So let's go ahead and close that. We have 5 minutes left. So let's just play with the search. Search is not really a form. It's a search, but let's just try things out. Let's try beef. All right, so it looks like they have a pretty nice search here. Okay, so it gives me both entrees and sides, or it gives me beef, pork, and it gives me recipes. So it kind of gives you from anywhere on their site, and it tells you what section of the site this information is coming from. So that's pretty nice actually. So it looks like there's 108 results for beef, and it looks like it categorized it by the section. So products at the top, recipes, and then everything else. Pretty good. I like it. Let's try searching for nothing. So I'm just going to hit a space, and you can see that it's accepting space as an option because it has a clear button. And I'm going to hit enter. It says 0 results for nothing there. What I would expect is that it would just not search for the space. Any leading or trailing spaces should be removed, and any searches that contain only spaces should not be treated as valid searches. So I'm going to leave that space in there, and I'm going to type in beef again. That's interesting. So notice that it gave me 110 results that time. I think last time I did this, it gave me 109 or 108. So before I put the space in there, it had 108 results. But when I added space in there, it gave me 110 results. So something is off here. Let's see if we can pinpoint it real quick. So products is 82, go back, and products is 80. So it gave me 2 additional products when I put a space in front of the word beef. Like I said, that space character in front of the search term shouldn't be doing anything that affects the search, but for some reason it is, and some reason there's 2 extra products out there that have the word beef with a space in front of it. And I'm gonna take a guess that perhaps they have 2 products in their database that actually are entered in with beef with a space in front of it, because that's why it's picking it up. Or it could just be something like this where it's Wisconsin space beef. Who knows? All right, my time is almost up. So we did play around with Trader Joe's. A lot of this site is very informational. It lets you see products. It lets you add items to a shopping cart. The cool features that they had were the crossword puzzle and the podcast. And I didn't really find anything wrong with their site other than minor discrepancies with their search. I'm pretty sure you can still find your beef, whether you put a space or not. But we did test the form, but it turned out to be not made by Trader Joe's. It was a third-party form. And hopefully you learned how to do some form validation testing, even though it wasn't what we were expecting to do. But we'll just end it here today. If you have any recommendations of additional websites that you want me to add to the wheel, add it to the comment below. But until next time, see you later.